Welcome back, everyone. It's time for episode 47 of the Horns Up podcast, your weekly catch-up on all things metal. I am your host, Dan Kaplan, coming to you as always from New York. With me from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, his Jersey face and mom come in men's. It's Corey Butterworth. Corey, how's it going?
It's going really well, and that's a reference I was not expecting, and I totally am okay with it.
Right? I came out of nowhere with it, like an RKO out of nowhere.
The best.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I wanted to kick it old school a little bit, take us back to some freshman year picnic face action. You know,
for real.
It's been a little while.
Yeah, it has.
They're still going strong. They're still making new content, I think. So
Jesus.
Good for them. Good for those little Nova Scotian boys. What is going on up your way? How's New Hampshire? How's marathon training? What's the deal?
All are busy. I am currently drinking a beer and watching hockey because that's my life when I get home from work. But yeah, training's going well. Week from Monday, so when you guys hear this, I'll be 9 days out, 10 days out, something like that of the marathon. Just in full fundraising mode at this point, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It snowed today, which is a buttload of stupid, but whatever. Why not snow in mid-April?
I always remember back stuff like that makes me think of when I first got into Syracuse. I first found out I'd gotten in, and they had spring receptions, which were also in mid-April for like all the accepted high school seniors and stuff.
Right.
And it snowed, and we were, delayed getting up there and all that stuff because we didn't know how to drive up there yet.
Right.
But that was. It's spring, damn it. It's like a month into spring almost. Like get your shit together, winter.
Well, I mean, I know what it's going to mean. This has happened before. It's going to go straight from winter to summer. Like, we're going to open the doors one day and it's going to be like 80 out. And that's just going to be that. It's going to be mid-May and whatever, I guess. But it was kind of dumb. It was kind of shitty waking up at 4:15 this morning and going outside and having to scrape 2 inches of snow off my car. That was kind of stupid. But
that's a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I can't
stand that.
It's a shit pile, that's for sure.
What are you going to do? I guess that's the price you pay for living up north, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I said I wanted Grim and Frostbitten. They're giving it to me in full force.
Always and forever. Well, before we get into our headlines this week, I want to give you a shout out, Corey, because, for the second week in a row, we did not have a sponsor for the podcast. So we had to scrape together what little few funds we had. And, I want to give you a shout out. You went above and beyond. You walked the streets at night. You asked for money. You went around and went home with a couple people, and I really appreciate it because now we can have a podcast this week. So
I've
taken one for the team.
I've taken many for the team.
Doing a little hooking when times get tough.
I'm a highly sought after entity. What can I say?
Oh boy. Well, with that in mind, let's get into some headlines. And right off the bat, on a more serious note, we want to extend our condolences. Our thoughts go out to the band members and families of Khaotika and Wormreich, who were involved in a deadly van crash in Georgia on Monday morning. They were, as far as I recall, they were coming to Georgia from a gig in South Carolina, and the driver of the van fell asleep at the wheel. Vehicle left the road, clocked a tree, and 3 passengers were killed. Several more were injured. I will admit I'm not familiar with either band. I was not familiar with either band, but regardless, I mean, this is just a terrible thing to hear. You've got 2 groups of kids who are out there just really busting their asses, doing what they love, trying to make something out of it, and it's really heartbreaking to hear.
It is, and what's so real about the situation is we have seen car accidents, we've seen van accidents, we've seen tour bus accidents, time and again. They come up, I don't want to say regularly, but occasionally you do see those articles, and usually it's something along the lines of, car flew off the road, crashed into a ditch, everybody walked away fine. That's usually how it goes. We offer our sympathies. We might poke a little bit of fun, not obviously at the situation, but we move on with our lives. This isn't that. Right. This is 2 young bands. Again, much like you, I'm unfamiliar. I will be, of course, checking them out at this point, just mostly out of curiosity. These are two young bands that are, like you said, just trying to make the most out of what they love, pursuing their own talents, their own dreams. And it's a tragedy. It is. It sucks. You don't wish this on anybody. It shouldn't happen to anybody. I hope both bands try to push on in whatever way they can. They deserve that at least. It sucks. I know they're trying to raise some funds, which you can mention in a bit, I guess. You know more about than I do, but it sucks. It's sad, and it hit home pretty hard earlier this week when it happened, and it hasn't really faded at all. It's just sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Between this and, I mean, you know, of course, we're only a couple months removed from John Athen from Black Tusk,
right?
And his accident. Yeah, it's just a sad thing to hear. Now, a fan of the band or fans of the band have set up a GoFundMe account to support the victims and their families, but this was actually taken down.
Oh, really?
I just found this out. This was taken down at the band's request. They said at this point they just want privacy. They want to figure things out and process this and, you know, like let everything sink in. And, you know, obviously, hopefully we'll get a chance to donate in the future, and hopefully the rest of the band's injuries aren't too serious and they can soldier on. You hate to hear this, and it's you know, it's awful stuff all around. Hope the best for both of them.
Absolutely, and I can definitely see that. You know, asking for the GoFund to be taken down. This might be an opportunity better served for people like us or music lovers in general to go out and check out some of this music, invest in some of this music, download files, whatever, because that's, you know, obviously supporting the band and them in general, while allowing them to kind of do their thing, stay under the radar, let them take their time. So I don't know about you, but that's probably how I would try to show my support, at least at this point.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's an opportunity for that, if nothing else.
Oh. Definitely. Well, whatever we end up doing, whatever you and I end up doing, whatever folks out listening end up doing, keep Khaotika and Wormreich in your thoughts.
Definitely.
Just tough news all around. Next up, we have news from Skeleton Witch, and specifically vocalist or former vocalist Chance Garnett. We all remember last year when Chance mysteriously disappeared from Skeleton Witch's live dates late in the year. The band did some gigs as an instrumental act. I think we talked about this on the podcast.
We definitely did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we now know why. Vocalist Chance Garnett admitted earlier this week that he's had a drinking problem, and that said drinking problem was ultimately the reason behind his dismissal from the band. You know, Skeleton Witch, of course, announced that Battlemaster vocalist Andy Horn would be taking on vocal duties for their upcoming European tour, but there's no word if he's going to be a permanent replacement for Chance. It's as far as we know, it's just the European tour. Now, Chance expressed disappointment at the manner he was let go. He basically said, you know, he heard it through his girlfriend rather than from the band, but owned up to what he said was ultimately his responsibility. He said, quote, you know, the last person to see who's being an asshole is the person being the asshole. That was me. Guilty. I should have been able to recognize my own mistakes and faults and been able to fix my own shit. I'm not blaming anyone for not coming to me with an ultimatum about my behavior. I wish something like that would have happened. It didn't. What can I do? I'm not making an excuse for myself here. I own this. It's all mine. He went home, entered treatment, and has you know since said, I don't feel I'm finished artistically, and if I get the opportunity to perform for you guys in the future, I won't let you down, quote unquote. You know, it's a shame to see that he's not going to be in the band anymore, but I got to say kudos to him for acknowledging his problem and you know, just owning up to you know, his side of things.
Right. I mean, this could have been handled in a better way on a number of levels, which I know we're not going to know this full story or all the details. We never will.
Right. But
you know, from what it sounds like, he found out about this through the same online post we saw, which was announcing the vocalist for the upcoming tour.
Right.
That's that.
Well, from what I gathered, it was two different things. So he found out from his girlfriend that they were sort of letting him go.
Yeah.
And then he heard, you know, confirmed that with the band, but then he heard about Andy Horn joining the band on the internet.
Right. So
yeah.
So it's other way. There wasn't any direct communication from the sounds of it, which is, you know, what can be frustrating. And it sucks because he was such a presence for that band live. He just brought so much energy and so much power, and I thought he was entertaining as all hell. I did. Granted, I don't work with him, so it doesn't mean shit, frankly. So it's a bummer. It really is. I mean, Skeleton Witch, I love seeing live. I hadn't heard really anything from them at all until I saw them open for Enslaved and Amon Amarth, I guess almost 14 months ago now, maybe a little more than that. And they were awesome, and he was awesome. So this sucks, but at least he's, you know, being an adult about it, he's owning up to whatever issues he may have, and he's going to take some steps to fix it. And I'm happy to hear that he doesn't feel like he's done artistically, and that there's hopefully more to come. It's just a bummer. That's all it really is. But hey, I got to give him some credit for at least stepping up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I saw them open for Ghost a couple years ago, which is sort of
That's
a weird pairing.
Yeah.
But they were fantastic, and obviously we'll see how Andy does as his replacement. But Chance definitely had something there with the band, and sorry to see it come to an end. But ultimately, if he's getting the help he needs, then maybe it's a good thing. If it took him getting kicked out of Skeleton Witch to help fix his drinking problem or whatever, and get himself rehabilitated, then I'm all for it in the long run. So
why not?
Hope he bounces back. Hope we get to hear more from Chance, obviously, and hope the best for the rest of the band as well. Moving on, our final headline for the week got word of a Spotify study earlier this week on their published on their Insights blog, and the study found that across the globe, metal fans ranked highest in Spotify's measure of listener loyalty. Now, Spotify defined loyalty to a genre as, quote, returning to its core favorite artists the most. They ranked core artists by listening. They ranked their core artists by listening popularity. Which artists in a given genre are the most streamed, I suppose, and then divided the number of total streams those artists had by the number of listeners to that genre of music. And I don't know if that's necessarily the best measure, but let's play along. Sure. But metal had both globally and in many individual countries, metal had the highest rate of, listener return to those core bands in the metal genre. I'm interested in seeing what core bands they used. They didn't really go into detail there,
right?
But yeah, metal fans are the most loyal per Spotify. So
yeah, this is kind of fun. I mean, I'm gonna not take a ton from this study because let's face it, it's not that scientific, although kind of neat. But I just want to put the study aside for a second and just focus on the thesis that metalheads are the most loyal to their chosen genre. And I think we all agree that metalheads are kind of unique in their relationship to the music they listen to. It's far more than just a style of music that they like. It in a lot of ways is a part of their lifestyle. It defines what they want to look like in public. It defines how they spend their free time and all their money. It's a huge, and that's just from obviously my experience in the genre as well as everybody else's. So I definitely think there's some merit there, just from the trends I've seen with my eyes, those things I use for vision. But then again, I'm not a fan of Swedish folk music, so who knows? I mean,
right.
It's apples and oranges, really. But I think it's kind of cool, and I definitely think there is a lot of loyalty within the genre in general. I mean, it's always been, the musicians and the fans have always been the type with a bit of a chip on their shoulder for one reason or another. So it's more natural for those fans or for that music to kind of band together a little bit. So I can definitely see it. I think it's neat. I'm not gonna take the study with a whole lot of value, but
much more than a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still cool.
Yeah.
It is still cool to think about. Still cool idea to kick around a little bit, and I can see it. I can.
Yeah. Well, you want to know what else is great about it, though? They ranked EDM, electronic dance music, third last in loyalty globally.
No shit.
Suck it, Greek life.
No one likes you.
Shuck it long, shuck it hard. Anyway,
yes.
Yeah. So check that out. It is on Spotify's Insights blog. I think that's kind of neat. But yeah, metal fans. All right.
Good job, team.
Woo! Up the loyalty. That'll do it for headlines. Let's move into. You actually do not have a concert review, do you?
I had 3 lined up for this weekend, and I went to 0 of them.
Oh.
Well, none of them I really gave that much of a shit about. I heard Electric Wizard was good. They were Friday night in Boston. I didn't go because I was drunk. And then Saturday night, let's see, what happened Saturday night? Oh, Saturday I did a workout with my buddy Aaron, one of the artists one of the minds behind Excrecker and Solium Fatalis, and we did some weightlifting on Saturday, and then I tried to go for a run, and then after stretching my run, I completely fucked up my back, and didn't move for 12 hours, so that kind of ruined that. Granted, Saturday's show was
that the revocation?
No, that was Sunday, so clearly I care about whatever was happening Saturday. Sunday would have been revocation, but what happened on Sunday was, so I went out. I did end up going out Saturday night just because I felt like it. And I got home, obviously rather intoxicated because it's Saturday night and I'm me. And
Of course.
and I can't go out and not get at least a little drunk. I mean, come on. I got home, went to take out my contact lenses, and I did. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning, and wouldn't you know it, I missed putting my contact lenses in the actual case. They were just lying in my sink with the case full of lens fluid sitting on the counter. So I had no vision all day Sunday.
Well, that sucks.
So due to a number of unfortunate circumstances, I did not go to any shows this weekend, and quite frankly, I don't know. I mean, At the Gates is tonight/Friday night, if you're paying attention to when we're recording this versus to when this is being shared with you guys. Revocation is Friday, April 10th. I don't know if I really want to go, dude. I really don't. I just didn't care that much about the new At the Gates album. I love Paul Bearer, and I think Converge is there and some other cool shit, but I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot going on right now in my life, and I just don't know if I want to lose my entire day and night tomorrow, quite frankly.
Yeah, they're coming through. That tour's coming through here on Sunday, I believe, which right off the bat, number one, Sunday night. Ugh,
Yeah.
that sucks. Number two, I missed out on getting tickets. And number three, I would like to catch Paul Bearer, but I will do so when they're headlining.
They're not a band you should... They're a band I want to see not perform a 30-minute opening set. I'll put it that way.
Right. And we saw At the Gates at Death Fest last year. Did they play anything from At War with Reality? No.
And that's a good thing because
Yeah.
they played everything before that, which I love all of it. So
right.
that's fine.
And we're going to be seeing Valenfire this year at Death Fest.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's whatever to me.
You are just
Converge. I've never really gotten into Converge.
they're fine.
Truth be told,
I could take them or leave them, which is not enough for me to venture down there. So what you're really doing here is you're just fighting my battle with me as far as not going goes, and that is totally okay.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. Solidarity,
Woo! All for it.
Yeah. Well, I last Saturday I did end up going, as I touched on briefly last week. I went to see Diarrhea Planet, who were back again. This is my fourth time seeing them. The first was in June. I'm a little bit obsessed. But these things happen when you've got one of the best live bands I've ever seen in my life. And Saturday night was not a disappointment at all. I think it was probably a better show than when I saw him at Governor's Ball, but I think Governor's Ball is still my favorite experience, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does,
just
actually.
Because that was my introduction to the band. But yeah, they played Saturday night at the Bowery Ballroom. My brother and I went. Support from a group called Left and Right, as well as a local opener called Slonk Donkerson, which
That's an amazing name.
it was an awesome name.
Yeah.
And they were actually a pretty good band too. I had a good time with them. But yeah, I mean, it was just pure Diarrhea Planet awesomeness. They came, they rocked for a good 45 minutes, an hour maybe. And they closed the main set with a cover of Baba O'Reilly from The Who.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was just absolutely fantastic. So much energy. They crowd surfed. They had people stage diving. That's one of the things I like about Bowery Ballroom is that there is no security barrier by the stage. You can just get right up and lean against the monitors and stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's really cool. We got up and like slapped high fives with the band and stuff like that. It was really cool. Not at all disappointed. Amazing fourth time out for Diarrhea Planet. And yeah, I will PSA the hell out of this again. If Diarrhea Planet is coming to a theater near you out there, go see them. Don't think twice. Don't laugh at the name, but don't let that discourage you from going to see them because it is one of the best live shows you will see, bar none. So
yeah, I'll see them eventually. But I just want to touch on your point about venues where they don't have stage or like stage barriers. Those have always been my best experience at shows. Always. Just this year, I saw Dark Tranquility, same thing. Kids are crowd surfing, and the band's letting them on the stage, just like hang out and stuff. It's the best. And, my second time seeing Agalloch at Winter's Coming Fest 1, back in, I guess it was, let me look at my poster here, 2012. Same idea. I was literally just like high-fiving John Hamm from the crowd. It's like, yeah, hey guy, you're right in front of me and stuff. Super personal, super intimate, super fun. It just makes for a way rowdier crowd and just a better overall environment for the show. You just can't do it for some bands because you're always going to get those assholes, which is sad.
Yeah.
But
we get stuff like that. I mean, we have another, obviously Vitus is like that.
Right.
You've never been to Vitus, but Vitus has no security by the stage. The Acheron here in Brooklyn has no security by the stage. It's just like right up close and personal.
Right.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
So, so that was my concert review for the week. Let us break into the new releases. We've got 3 or 4 actually this week. 2 from the same band. Funny enough, both two new releases dropping on the same day. Let's start off with that. Let's talk about Délétère and their new albums, Les Heures de la Peste and De Ritibus Morbiferus, which you listened to this week, correct?
I did. Les Heures de la Peste. That was that review's already up. It was
saw it on the blog.
Yep.
hornsupmetalshow.com.
Yep. It was the full length. They released 2 albums. There was Les Heures de la Peste, which we talked about, which is their full length. They're actually their debut full length. And then De Ritibus Morbiferus or whatever, which is really a demo compilation.
Latin.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Which is a demo compilation. Les Heures de la Peste. I liked it. It's hard to really, dude. I've heard so many new black metal albums this year.
Are they all starting to blend together for you?
It's getting a little ridiculous. It's getting absurd. I actually looked back at my my list of albums I reviewed this year, and there's like 37 on there. And I think 35 of them are just black metal, just occult black metal. And this is another one. And one of the ones that isn't is like Forest of Stars, which is still a form of black metal. So it's getting
that is but they're like all over the place. They count for everything.
Did you listen to that album yet?
It's
did. Amazing.
It's something.
It's something awesome. It's fucking weird, but I love it. Anyway, the first few times through this thing, it's raw, which you kind of expect from a lesser known black metal act. It's just a part of the deal. But it sounded almost like you were listening to something underwater. It just lacked any real depth. The percussion had no real power to it. You could hear it, but it just sounded like fuzzy. Some of the leads were really cool because the leads were definitely kind of like a howling, shrieking style. The vocals were awesome. They did a lot of, there was a lot of changes of pace in the sense that you had these moments of interlude where it's just these like howling, barking, almost half-spoken lyrics while the cadence was just very, very deliberate. And then, of course, you would get into your blast beats and your tremolo picking and all that stuff. So the instrumentally and musically, it was really, really cool. The production kind of ruined it a little bit for me. But it wasn't bad. It just took a few times through to really kind of get it. I'd point to some song titles that I thought were memorable, but let's face it, I don't speak French. So it wouldn't really be anything great. Vepres Architectus de la Peste, which was the penultimate track on the album, that was pretty cool. That was definitely a good one. Sexte un charon Cornier de Fumier is the 5th song on the album. It's 8 minutes long. That's probably one of the more ambitious ones. That has the most deviation within a track. That was really cool. It's a good listen. It is. It just, I don't know. I've heard similar done better this year. I'll put it that way. But definitely worth, 50 minutes. Check it out. It's worth it, if nothing else. I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, these guys are brand new. Well, not really. They've been around since 2009. Have done nothing but put 2 demos out before now. So they're still getting their legs under them, and it's definitely a solid debut effort, but definitely room for improvement.
But they've got room to grow.
Absolutely. And they do. And there's a lot of potential there. Like, again, the song architecture was amazing. Just, it needs a little bit of tweaking here and there. That's all. Yeah.
Interesting. Alrighty. Well, what about the demo? So is there anything new on the demo compilation, or is it just like a re-release of the previous work?
You asked that like I've listened to anything else I've ever done before at any point, which I haven't.
Well, I don't know, but they sent you all these promos. I figured they might like explain this shit to you.
No, they send these to Zach. Let's be clear. He does the legwork there. Shout out to Mania War. It's a compilation of, from what I gather, all old stuff they've put together, and it actually is. The two demos they released in 2012 and 2013, Inopia et Morbo, and then Sacrificium Necrothitum. God damn, these fucking names, dude. It's a compilation of basically both of those. I assume probably produced a little better. And I actually weirdly enjoyed this more, but I think I enjoyed it more because I knew it was a demo going into it, or it was a compilation of demos going into it. So the production was still raw, and it was definitely there's more sparsity to it than the full length, but it seemed to work a little bit more. It lacked the same level of shallowness that L'Oiseau de la Peste had. It was obviously grainy and it was fuzzy, but it still had that like atmosphere, that kind of just a encompassing feeling to it, which I didn't get from the one they put the most effort into, frankly.
Go figure.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was darker, it was sludgier, it was just evil sounding. The songs weren't as interesting as if you were to pick them apart as standalone tracks. But I think overall, the album itself was I think it was a little bit more cohesive, and it definitely just made for a better listen at the surface level, just because of how everything worked together. But I've only gone through it once or twice. There's going to be more to come on that. I promise I will write about it. That'll probably go up actually this weekend. I'll get some weekend content in there. And I'll spend some time with it, the next couple of days. But it's both are worth at least a once through. There could be some big stuff coming from these guys. The Quebecois black metal band. Why not? Worth checking out. Too bad you can't stream this shit anywhere.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they do not believe in modern technology.
No,
I think one of the songs was posted. The audio was posted for YouTube, but that's about it.
Yeah. I mean these so. I think these are both tagged as an April 7th release date, if I'm not mistaken. But I've also heard they're not going to be out till like July, which clearly is not the case here. So I don't know.
Who the hell knows?
Yeah, do some hunting. They're technically out now on
Sepulchral Productions. Yeah.
They're cool. They're different. Ish black metal still, you know how it works, but worth spending a couple hours on the two of them at least at some point.
Nice. Délétère, L'Oiseau de la Peste, and De Ritibus Morbiferus.
Words.
Or out somewhere. Now.
They exist.
Moving on, want to get into the new album from our friends in Crowhurst. Crowhurst,
Them's
who
guys.
you remember we talked to for the blog a couple weeks ago, and had really nice conversation with Jay Gambit over email, with the frontman, I guess, and primary leader of Crowhurst. Their self-titled album is out now on Ivory Antler. What'd you think of this thing?
Well, actually, yeah, this thing I thought it was great. Honestly, I did. It was good. It was dirty sounding. It was interesting, kind of doomy. I liked it. I don't know. You talk about it. I thought it was great. I did.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting because Crowhurst, of course, before this was primarily a noise project.
Right.
Jay had put out something like, I want to say like 65 or 66 different noise albums in
Christ.
4 years or so.
Yeah.
Not even 4 years. And all just sort of experimental electronic ambient type stuff. And this is their first album as a metal outfit, as a like an atmospheric experimental black metal type thing. And I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah.
It's 7 songs, shade over half an hour, 40 minutes maybe. And just all kinds of cool sounds at play. There are, you hear the black metal at times, you hear the raw kind of aggression there, but then you also hear stuff that kind of reminded me at least of Triptychon.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Tom G. Warrior type stuff. The closing track, Luna Falsata, features guest vocals from Eugene Robinson from Oxbow, Noise Legends. And that track is really interesting because it's relatively subdued compared to the rest of the tracks, but it's set, Eugene's vocals are basically the lyrics he's singing are a Werner Herzog monologue from a documentary he did about the making of Fitzcarraldo. And he's talking about the jungle and the idea of the jungle as this perverse, like awful place. And Eugene absolutely nails it. Just a tremendous performance. And it's truly a creepy song. Ends up being something like, I want to say like 6 or 7 minutes. And it's just all kinds of fantastic. For a first stab at metal as a collective, they've done really well with it. Highly recommend it. It's out now on their Bandcamp, on Spotify. I even was listening to it on Google Play Music. So check it out. Crowhurst, it's the self-titled album, and it's out now on Ivory Antler Publishing and Recording. So closing things out for new releases this week, the big one. I don't know. Did you get a chance to listen to this one?
Not really. I started going through it on my way home from Boston today, and then I fell asleep. So,
you're killing me.
Well,
You're killing me.
hold on. If you woke up at 4 a.m. and then you got to sit on a bus for 2 hours, you'd probably pass out too.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, it is.
That's fair. Well, then in that case, will talk about Royal Thunder's new album, Crooked Doors. It's their second full length. It's out on Relapse, and what an album from the Georgian hard rockers, Georgia, America, not Georgia,
Country,
Europe,
barely Europe.
Yeah. But these guys are just it's. I don't even want. It's definitely not metal. It's not even very conventionally heavy.
No.
It's sort of mid-range distortion. Just a absolutely amazing vocal performance from Melanie Parsons. Just all kinds of awesome stuff. She pulls off this, like, I've heard comparisons to Heart. To Ann Wilson, to Patti Smith, to Joan Jett. I mean, she's like kind of channeling a who's who of like rock vocal goddesses, and just absolutely nails it. The band is really tight, really together. They've got some outwardly heavy songs like Forget You, stuff like that, but then they close with a couple of ballads called The Bear, like a 2-part ballad. There's a song late in the album called One Day that I can only describe, I wrote this in the review, I can only really describe it as the Kiss from a Rose of metal. It's just got this absolutely amazing chorus, and it really reminds me of Seal, of Kiss from a Rose. Melanie is powerful throughout. Just the instrumentals are great. I mentioned the guitars, Josh Weaver, and I forget the new guy's name off the top of my head. I'm sorry, new guy. But they trade lines really. I mean, they have these really great melodic sensibilities. The drums are fantastic. Melanie's bass is fantastic. It's just a really well put together listen.
Sure.
Not perfect. I think, songs like Forgive Me Karma are a little bit too long on either end. There are a couple others that just don't quite come together. But for the most part, a very solid listen, and one of the highlights of the young quarter so far. So
nice. I've got it.
Yeah.
I've got the album. It's ready to get some spins. It just hasn't happened yet, but I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, reminder for you guys out there: the album is called Crooked Doors. It is the second album from Royal Thunder. If and when you get your hands on it, I highly recommend you give it a listen. So that will do it for album reviews. A reminder that we have our full slate of reviews up on the blog, hornsupmetalshow.com. We've got stuff up from, who the hell else did we have this week? Predatory
God,
Light.
everything. Tribulation.
Tribulation. Oh my God. That out. I cannot wait to talk about that thing on this podcast.
Those guys are just taking over the world right now. Ever since we saw them, everyone is raving about them. And the new album is only helping their cause. More on that later, but
I don't think the album officially drops for a couple of weeks, but Mania War got to it a little bit early.
We'll talk about it.
And a couple of weeks from now, it'll definitely come up. What else do we have? Chaos Echoes. There's a lot of stuff out this week. So check it out, hornsupmetalshow.com. You'll see our reviews tab. Click and read. Moving on, let's close things down. Let's do horns up and horns down. Starting with horns up. Corey, what do you got this week? What's making you happy?
Oh, there actually have been a number of things. I'd like to just quickly touch on the fact that, one, I signed up for a fantasy football league. Flag football league this summer, which is going to be a lot of fun. I will not probably be playing fantasy football again until, maybe the season starts. But flag football will be fun. I got a dope new pair of headphones, studio headphones from Sennheiser, or Sennheiser as Americans know them, which have been treating me very well. But I know I mentioned earlier that I've been focusing a lot the past week or two on fundraising for the Boston Marathon. Now, for those unaware, I ran the Boston Marathon last year. I'm running again this year. A part of my goal with that event is to raise some money for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Boston. Last year,
worthy cause.
Yeah, last year I had a target of $1,500. I ended up raising $1,600, which was great. This year, same cause. For those that don't know, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Boston have been around since 1893. Actually, is when they opened their first club. Wow. And there's like 15,000 kids that rely on them. There's like 11 different clubs across the city. So I'm doing what I can to to raise money again for those guys. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my dad, Bruce, my mom, Penny, my stepdad, Didier, Kyle Brown, coworker, Katie Petruno, longtime friend, John Albritton, another coworker, and then Dave Mercer, so far for their extremely generous contributions. I'm well over halfway there after just a week of fundraising. It's a great cause.
That's fantastic.
Yep, I thank you guys a ton. You guys are the best. It's a great cause. Obviously, I'm going to do my part as well. Outside of fundraising, I will be making a nice donation myself as well. It's a great cause. It's worth it. And I just want to thank those guys real quick. For everybody else, you might want to hop on over to CrowdRise and look me up and donate to this great cause. Just throwing it out there.
Well, guess who gets paid tomorrow? This guy. So.
Oh, you're hinting at a donation. Thank you, Daniel.
Of course. I donated last year. I'm not going to stiff you this year.
I hate your cause. Kidding.
Also, it's a good cause. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is. And so that's Boston Marathon. It's a week from Monday. That's kind of nerve-wracking for me. But hey, it was one of the highlights of my 2014, so I'm excited to do it again, and this is part of it.
You know what? We'll put. We're talking about this now. I'm not going to read an entire URL over the podcast
it's too
because
big.
That would just be stupid. Yep. I will include a link in Quickies tomorrow.
Nice.
And really in the podcast post and throughout the day as well. Just if anyone out there would like to support Corey in the Boston Marathon and support the Boys and Girls Clubs through Corey in the Boston Marathon, I'll have a link for you. You can click and donate. I'm sure we would all appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to mention real quick, it's a marathon. It's a road race. Most of these are unrecognized. Most areas, they don't matter that much. There's a million of them. The Boston Marathon is a little different. This is an event where the entire region of not just Boston, but New England and a good portion of the country puts down everything and pay attention to. From Hopkinton to Boston, from Hopkinton to Back Bay, where the finish line is, people line the streets 10 to 20 people deep the entire 26.2 miles. It is an all-day party. It is a day off from work for Massachusetts. It's a really big deal. We all know about what happened in 2013, and you can't avoid the news. You all know what happened as far as that trial goes. So it's a really big deal, and obviously I can be more proud to be a part of it. So just want to throw those 2 cents in as well. That's an obvious horns up for me. There'll be more on this next week, of course, because it'll be the episode beforehand. But that's it. That's all I got. Thank you, everybody. And Dan, it's your turn.
It is, I suppose. My horns up for the week. In comparison, it's going to sound silly. I'm going to talk about what's made me really happy this week has been the selection of streaming movies on Netflix right now and on different streaming services right now. I stayed in last Friday. I had no energy.
Sure.
I had a mini movie marathon with one of my roommates and watched over the course of the evening. We were flipping through on Hulu. And, of course, Hulu has the entire Criterion collection, which is this whole mess of amazing, restored movies and stuff like that. So we started with the Beatles' Hard Day's Night, classic movie, one I had seen growing up and had watched pretty much religiously growing up because my mom was a huge Beatles fan. And then we moved over to Netflix, and Netflix is fucking killing it right now, I have to say. Netflix has currently stuff like Groundhog Day, There Will Be Blood, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, In Bruges.
That's awesome.
I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
There are just a ton of awesome movies on there right now. So, of course, my roommate and I decided we wanted to watch Deep Blue Sea.
Well, hold on. I'm going to let you finish, obviously, but in all fairness, I think I watched Open Water 2 over the weekend at some point.
Ooh,
that's
brutal.
I was very hungover. Anyway, proceed.
Yeah. Deep Blue Sea, it's really horrible, but it's so endlessly rewatchable in its badness. I will defend Samuel L. Jackson's death in that movie as one of the all-time great movie deaths. Pretty much, I will have this thing's back until the day I die. Samuel L. Jackson, for those who haven't seen Deep Blue Sea, the premise, and I'm going to be skimping on some of the details largely because I am ignorant of them, and it still didn't really sink in even after watching it. The premise is that there's an undersea research facility and underwater research facility out in the ocean, and the scientists are out there doing experiments on sharks. I guess some sort of protein in their brain is making them super smart and extra aggressive and things like that.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. And so smart, in fact, that the sharks destroy the entire research facility and kill everyone and blah, 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 blah. It could have been a sci-fi original movie. Like, let's be honest.
That's the best.
But at one point, like midway through the movie, like shit's already started to go down. People are getting scared. And Samuel L. Jackson, who is one of the researchers, he stands up and he's giving this triumphant speech about how they can't back down, about how they're going to find those sharks and kill them. And like it, basically the Deep Blue Sea version of we got to find I've had enough of these motherfucking snakes on my motherfucking plane speech.
Yeah.
That whole thing. But midway through his speech, one of the sharks jumps out of the water and snatches him up, eats him alive.
Oh my God.
He gets ripped in half underwater. And I'm just like, this is perfect.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
This is the best. I really don't have much more to say than that. It's wonderful. The only thing now is that, of course, now that I'm calling out this amazing selection on Netflix and Deep Blue Sea, probably half of these great movies will be taken away in the next overhaul, whenever that is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer. But
sure.
For now, awesome stuff, Netflix. Keep it going. That's my horns up for the week. Flipping it around, horns down. What do you got?
Well, I was really gonna touch on. I'm drinking a lot, as people can notice. I was originally gonna
words.
Yeah, words are harder after IPA number 5. So I have an IPA on tap now. That's exciting at the house.
Yeah,
it's good to go. It's delicious. Anyway,
different from Super Rabbit.
It is a Super Rabbit. Isn't that fun?
Oh, okay, nice.
I was originally going to touch on the whole weekend that was regarding my inability to see for a couple of days and having to deal with no vision for 48 hours or so. But I'm going to instead just go ahead and add, which I normally wouldn't do because I kind of like the state as a whole. I'm going to go ahead and add Wisconsin to the list of states that can either be inhabited by aliens, chiseled away from the boundaries of the United States and drifted out to sea, something like that, because they are the second state to ban discussion about climate change.
Ah, yes.
And I don't want to,
of course.
Yeah, I don't want to really get into this too much because, let's face it, this is one of those things that could just go on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks with me. How can that be something that's passed in a free country? Oh, we can't talk about this now.
Right.
Huh. That doesn't sound like our Constitution at all.
Doesn't sound like the first fucking amendment.
Right, exactly. So that's one thing. And then to blatantly just deny science and what is really at this point not a theory but proven trends is just fucking ignorant at this point. This country is just a shame, dude. It really is. It's in a
that whole mindset. I got to talk about this because that whole mindset is like when you approach a kindergartner and tell him to do something he or she doesn't want to do. And the kid sticks his fingers in his ears and puts his hands over his eyes and goes, la, 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 I can't hear you. La, 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 la. That's what Wisconsin is doing, basically.
Yeah.
Right now. And yeah, these are our elected officials. Good job, America.
They're elected officials, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, I don't know. There's going to need to be at some point a drastic change in this country that's either driven by the greater populace. Come on, 300 million people, get your shit together. Or it's going to have to come from something dramatic happening that pretty much cripples our nation altogether. Frankly, either way, I'm okay with it. Because something needs to happen. We're fucking stupid. We don't look at the situations in front of us. California doesn't have water. The state of California doesn't have water. If they continue on this trend, they have water to last them, as we talked about before, about 12 months. Are you fucking kidding me? In America, the need to hydrate is now an issue. Give me a goddamn break. But that's where
honestly,
that's where
though,
I live.
I look at it, and I'm like, between California and now this shit in Wisconsin, and we're talking about South Carolina, where that poor man Walter Scott was gunned down by the police officer after running from him.
Right. Also, Indiana with all the shit that's going on there. Hey.
I look at shit like this. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe the extinction of humanity wouldn't be a bad thing.
I'll go down. I'll take one for the team. The entire team being eternity. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I will say what I did find kind of funny that I read about today, and this may or may not have any validity to it. I haven't dug too far into the details. But I guess Zach Braff and that guy that plays Turk, who I'm drawing a blank on right now,
Donald Faison.
Yeah, Faison have said they would be willing to cater or deliver pizzas to any gay wedding in the state of Indiana. That's amazing.
Good for those two.
Dude, those two are the best. Even though Scrubs is no longer with us, and I do miss it, that's amazing. That is awesome. That is basically saying, hey, state, fuck you. We're going to do this anyway. And it takes, well, that's the thing, though. It takes people like that to just not give a fuck and just do what they think is right, to do what is right, to make anything happen. It's just that simple. People, I mean, I don't know. This whatever. This country's fucked. I don't care. It's words. It's all masturbation at this point. This country's fucked, and I can't wait for it to burn.
Yeah.
USA!
sad but true.
Yeah, I can't wait to see just the country burn, because it's fucking deserved at this point.
Well, my horns down is going to be a little less bleak in scope, but yeah, we'll get to it. I was at McDonald's today. I'm not proud of it, but I was thirsty.
Wrap?
I needed something to drink. Went to get a Diet Coke.
Okay.
Yeah, and not proud of it, but I was in there and I put my order in, and the dude was taking my order. He's like, "Oh, okay, hold on." Turns his back. I guess he had some other orders coming through, like blah 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 blah.
Sure.
He had to serve people their food that was being prepared. I was like, that's fine. He, tells me to hold on. I swipe my card. I pay for my Diet Coke. Whatever. I'm then standing there for another 5 minutes, waiting for him to get me a cup. I can fill up the soda myself. Like there's a soda dispenser right out there. All I need from him is the cup. And it takes him 5 minutes, a full 5 minutes to get me my cup. I'm just
God.
Are we for real right now? And it wasn't like I was just standing there doing nothing. It was not like, it did not get to 5 minutes for lack of my trying.
Right.
No, I'm trying to get this dude's attention. He's like, oh, no, hold on. I'm like,
it's like, dude,
really,
they're
dude?
Next to you. They're next to you. Just reach next to you and hand it over. I don't give a shit.
Come the fuck on. It's, oh my God. I was standing there. I thought I was losing my mind or some shit. I was just it was unbelievable.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's all I've got at the moment in terms of just pissing me off. And I'm not even really upset at it because, for fuck's sake, I was in McDonald's. I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But
not to be too mean, but there's, I'll just leave it. I'm not gonna get into that.
No, but it's it's just you walk in and it's crowded and you should expect chaos.
You expect certain service and certain pace. It's a cup, dude. It's a cup. Just hand it over. Just, you know what? I'm actually glad that your horn's down, because I needed something lighthearted after this fucking episode. We had some sad news, and my horn's down kind of sucked. So this is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah, we're closing things out on a not all that serious
Right,
note.
exactly. It's perfect.
Change.
Also, fucking McDonald's. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I get it. I was in there at 1:30. I get that people are getting their lunch and it's a little crazy.
Yeah, sure.
I should have expected some sort of obstacle to getting my Diet Coke, but for God's sake,
it could have at least been
not that much of
at
one.
least be a physical obstacle so that I can get over it or around it or through it as needed, instead of just one that's completely reliant on somebody to use their right hand. Not like that, you creepy motherfuckers. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of funny.
So that's all I've got this week. All things considered, not that bad a week when you think about it.
Could be worse.
But yeah. So that'll do it for Horns Up, Horns Down, and that will do it for the podcast. Reminder for you guys, check out the Horns Up blog for all of our regular content, our album reviews, you name it, hornsupmetalshow.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We are facebook.com/thehornsup, Twitter and Instagram @thehornsup. You can also follow Corey and I on Twitter. Corey is at Mr. CM Butterworth, and I am at DCabs89. Subscribe to the Horns Up podcast on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Podbean, you name it, we're there. Check us out. We also post these on YouTube if that's your thing, I guess. I don't know. But other than that, this has been episode 47. Thank you guys, as always, for stopping by. And remember, live,
love,
plow,
horns up.
We'll see you next week.